Good afternoon. I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome to those of you watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app from the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the words Spot Media. Efforts are being made to quell tensions in sections of Mountain View where a flare-up of violence between rivaling factions have led to several killings in and around the area. Member of Parliament for South East St. Andrew, Julian Robinson, says the current spate of violence threatens to derail months of mediation and community policing that had been successful for the most part of this year. Those measures have been implemented in several communities throughout the constituency where there were killings earlier this year.
I don't know the exact number, to be frank. We had a number of them in Swallowfield earlier in the year, which was brought under control. And now Mountain View has had 3 in the last week or so. But we're hoping we can manage it because the reality is that the violence doesn't help anybody and it retards development in the communities. And we're working closely with the police, with the Peace Management Initiative, churches and other stakeholders to ensure that we have peace in the communities.
Mr. Robinson was speaking at a Christmas treat for senior citizens of the Trafalgar Division in the constituency earlier this week. Head of the Police Highway and Traffic Division, Senior Superintendent Calvin Allen, is again warning commuters to avoid unlicensed vehicles posing as public transportation providers. This comes as the Greater Portmore Police continue investigations into the death of 17-year-old Ariel Lawrence, a resident of Spanish Town St. Catherine in the division last week. Ariel was found dead along the George Lee Boulevard shortly after she boarded a taxi in Portsmouth. SSP Allen says the police have implemented measures to capture criminals posing as public transportation providers.
Use this opportunity to seriously warn our parents to talk to your children. Please remind them, do not just hop into any vehicle that stop at your feet. They are all not genuine persons in terms of providing a transportation service. We want for persons to be far more careful. And I was on patrol in the town center today, and I saw several young ladies just moving about without what I would assess to be not that level of consciousness of their environment. Please, as you go through this holiday, there are several persons out there with.
The Police High Command has disclosed that more than 1,000 rank-and-file members of the police force stayed away from their jobs last week in the mass sick-out. TVJ's O'Shane Masters has the details.
Hundreds of rank-and-file members last week staged a sick-out to contest the wage offer of 6% over 2 years being offered to them by the government. The sick-out left courts without adequate personnel, and other members of society had to step in. But how much of a hindrance was the sick-out to the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF? Deputy Commissioner of Police Clifford Blake said the effect of the protest action was significant and almost threatened the JCF's operations. Speaking on RGR's Balancing Justice Tuesday night, DCP Blake disclosed that based on their records, the number of personnel who stayed away equates to approximately 10% of the force.
An unusually high number of our members had called in sick. And at one stage, I think we reached just about 1,200. Sometime last week, 10%, yes. Significant number. And when you're really short, as we are right now, in excess of 2,500 persons, each member, I can tell you, especially when you work at Smarty Small Old State, each member is so valuable in terms of, building a patrol to respond to crime inside here. So when you have 2 or 3 persons reporting, it does have significant impact.
DCP Blake noted that patrols and street enforcement activities were significantly scaled down, forcing the High Command to quickly implement contingency measures. DCP Blake also provided an update on the numbers currently reporting for duty.
As it stands right now, we have normal operation. We just the regular. We looked at the figures this morning, and that was consistent with normal behavior, normal day. So we hadn't seen any unusual spike for the past 2 days.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Chairman of the Police Federation, Sgt Raymond Wilson, is among several rank-and-file members of the force who have been promoted in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Police Commissioner George Quayle is to make the official announcement in the police force orders to be published on Friday. Sgt Wilson, who recently completed a law degree, will be promoted to the rank of Assistant Superintendent, jumping the rank of Inspector. With the promotion, Sgt Wilson will have to relinquish the chair of the Federation, and the Central Executive will have to vote for a new chairman. His promotion has been causing a stir among rank-and-file members as it comes in the height of the contentious wage negotiations between the Police Federation and the government. Member of Parliament for South East St. Mary, Dr. Norman Dunn, has responded to allegations about illegal connections of street lamps in Epsom St. Mary during the November by-elections. After the Jamaica Public Service Limited, JPS, removed the lamps earlier this month, the residents got upset and accused Dr. Dunn of not doing the installations properly. A team from the JPS, along with Dr. Dunn, were seen in the area Tuesday reinstalling the lights. TVJ's Shamela Mitchell reports.
A few weeks ago, the Jamaica Public Service Company removed 9 street lamps in Epsom St. Mary. The JPS said those street lamps were illegally installed. However, after the lamps were removed, some residents blame Member of Parliament for South East St. Mary, Dr. Norman Dunn.
We want the light, but we never want light through that session, through his voting, and put it up to get vote. They put the light they put up the vote the first time.
The residents say the need to have lights in the community is great, as they have been without for decades. But they did not like the way in which the connections were done.
They must say light a lick out people fridge car low voltage and rare. But the most are the other side of people them. Lad, say take down, you know. As God every day them out me. Say take down. But see them now, Father God not sleep.
Dr. Dunn admitted that the lamps were installed during the November by-election. However, based on criminal activities taking place in the area then, the need to get the light at any means was necessary.
In the campaign, we heard that a number of persons were either robbed or attempted to be robbed in this particular area. And we sought the assistance. And lights were installed, temporary though, because we know that the proper infrastructure would be put in place at a later date.
Meanwhile, 10 LED lights were installed by the JPS on Wednesday, and the residents are now happy.
The light put up, and some people rebel say it must have been something that they know. Well, me not say not like that. Well, no, them replace it the right way now. So I'm really glad because they have a gate, and plenty of houses down here want light, so we just going to get light in our house now. I feel good.
Shamela Mitchell, TVJ News.
A funeral service held in Brooklyn Tuesday honored the life and legacy of the man who founded the Golden Crust Caribbean Bakery and Grill. Lowell Hawthorne was laid to rest Tuesday during a service beginning at the Christian Culture Center in Brooklyn. We have more from New York Station News 12.
Services for Lowell Hawthorne beginning with prayer and song, the room packed with his loved ones, friends, and just people whose lives he'd impacted over the years. On December 2nd, the Westchester native was found in his factory in the Claremont section of the Bronx with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. He had reportedly been dealing with financial hardships. He came to the U.S. in 1981 from Jamaica, first working as an accountant for the NYPD before opening a bakery, Golden Crust, on East Gun Hill Road in the Bronx. The franchise growing to more than 120 stores in 10 states. He's received numerous awards over the years and was featured on Undercover Boss. His family and friends say this is a huge loss.
You're, a friend, a family, somebody in need. He gave the person with nothing a dream with his story. And he gave people with some, a chance to, open their own businesses. He gave his family chances to live better lives. He just gave so much. So if there is one thing to remember Lowell Hawthorne as the man who lived to give.
And he also created a foundation giving scholarships to more than 300 aspiring students from here in the U.S. and in Jamaica. At the Christian Cultural Center in Brooklyn, I'm Katie Lusso, News 12.
A heartfelt appeal from the matron of the Maypen Infirmary in Clarendon, Joyce O'Connor Anderson, for relatives and family members to visit the children who are tenants in the home. She was speaking at a treat held recently at the facility. The matron emphasized that family members need to play a part in the children's lives, even if they do not have anything to donate.
They're members of society, and they should be cared for by, their individual families. But in the event that they can be cared for at home, whilst they're here, regular visits, they might not have anything to donate to them, but at the same time, just come and let them feel their presence. I'm sure it will improve their morale, give them a sense of well-being, and all of that, a sense of belonging. So, of course, I would really want to ask, family members out there in society just to come by, especially this time of year. It's a time of good cheer.
Custos of Clarendon, William Shiguri, is also appealing for relatives, especially parents.
Those that can't afford it, not to have so many children, because it really is not good to have children that can't give the love and nurture. It really is wrong, and so those who can afford it, fine, but those who can't afford it, just don't have the amount of children. Just have those that you can afford to love and nurture and give comfort to.
And it's time now for a look at what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In the next edition of the Health Report, we'll look at excessive alcohol consumption.
Severe gastritis, and that can cause nausea, vomiting, and even bleeding from the stomach lining because alcohol is an irritant. Alcohol also can cause inflammation of the pancreas, where the pancreas is a digestive organ, and sometimes it starts to digest itself. That will also give you nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and sometimes the vomiting, they can also vomit blood as well, and this usually requires hospitalization. Luckily, the most common form is a mild form where patients will get better quickly. However, severe pancreatitis is something that oftentimes causes patients to end up in ICU, that's intensive care unit, and some patients can even die from this condition.
That's the Health Report this evening in Primetime News. And now for today's healthy living tip. Here are some ways to curb your drinking. Set a drinking goal. Keep a diary of your drinking. Don't keep alcohol in your house. Drink slowly. Choose alcohol-free days. Watch for peer pressure. And keep busy.
And we go down to sports. A maiden half-century from Jamaican Rovman Powell could not prevent the West Indies from going down by 5 wickets to New Zealand in their opening one-day international at Whangarei. Powell scored 59 in the Windies' total of 248 for 9, batting first. Opener Evan Lewis was the top scorer with 76, while Shimron Hetmeyer made 29 and Chris Gale 22. The only other Windies batsman to get double figures was Kesrick Williams, who made 16 not out, as Doug Brackwell claimed 4 for 55 and Todd Astle 3 for 33. In reply, New Zealand got to their victory mark at 249 for 5, with George Worker making 57, while Kane Williamson and Ross Taylor both scored 49. Captain Jason Holder and Ashley Nurse ended with 2 wickets each. The second ODI is set for Friday. And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.